अस्सलाम वालेकुम गाइस, वेलकम बैक टू माय चैनल। आई होप आप सब खैर खरीद से हैं। आज मैं ट्यूटोरियल लेके आई हूँ बालों का एंड ये मेरा दुल्हन का मेकअप का ट्यूटोरियल था जो मैंने पहले लगाया। ये फाइनल लुक था, तो अभी हम बाल शुरू करें। I've got the tutorial for the hair now. I put this makeup look on about a week ago, so if you wanted to see how I created this makeup look, you can go and check out that tutorial. So यहाँ पे we're just sectioning off the hair, so I'm just side to side parting, and then I'm just gonna work with the back. So my bride's hair wasn't that long, it was like medium length, and she had some highlights in it, so I'm going to be using some hair tools today. So I've sectioned it off, so you can see the section is not actually quite behind the ear, it's actually a little bit further back. So I wanted to keep as much hair as I can from the front to work with, and then we can create the hairstyle from the front. So I'm just taking in this middle section and tying it up in a ponytail. So sectioning आप देख लें मैंने कैसे किया, ए टू ए नहीं किया, उससे पीछे से किया। So जितने बाल मुझे मिल सकते हैं आगे फ्रंट स्टाइलिंग के लिए तो उतना ही अच्छा है। तो बीच में ये जो पीछे जो बाल है उनको मैंने एक पोनीटेल में बांध दिया है, एंड देन इसको जो बाकी के ये बाल है ये मुझे ज़रूरत नहीं है, मतलब मैंने पैडिंग लगानी है, मैंने हेयर रोल्स लगाना है, सो इसको मैं बस जूरा बना के तो पिन कर दूँगी। If you have a look at the way I pin as well, just to make sure everything is secure, there is a certain way I pin, so there's an angle that I go in at, so I don't just pin them in straight. So now I'm just going to add in some padding. So what I'm trying to do now is create like a base for my bun. So we're going for quite a big bun here. I have done a similar one in another hair tutorial that I did. It was a photo shoot a few weeks ago that I actually put up. So this is quite similar to that. The front styling is slightly different. But this is a really good way of doing your hair, and it's quite quick and easy. So I've added on one padding, and then I'm just creating the shape with the rest of my padding. So this is kinky bulk hair that I'm using as my padding. So यहाँ पे मैंने ये पैडिंग इस्तेमाल की है। आई एम नॉट श्योर पाकिस्तान इंडिया में मिलती है या नहीं, या आप लोग वहाँ पे क्या पैडिंग के लिए यूज़ करते हैं। नॉर्मली अगर इस टाइप की पैडिंग आपको नहीं मिलती तो आप हेयर पीसेस से भी बना सकते हैं पैडिंग, वो भी मैं आपको एक वीडियो दिखा दूँगी। लेकिन मैंने ये भी नोट किया है कि पाकिस्तान इंडिया में जो भी मैं ज़्यादातर दुल्हनें देखती हूँ कि बाल माशाल्लाह इतने लंबे होते हैं, घने होते हैं, तो पैडिंग के बगैर आप लोग कर लेते हो। लेकिन बस ये है कि बैक कोमिंग बहुत ज़्यादा हुई हुई होती है, एंड जो क्रिम्पिंग होती है तो वो उससे थोड़ा सा बालों का ऑब्वियसली सही नहीं है। लेकिन वो मैंने नोट किया है कि पैडिंग इतनी ज़्यादा नहीं वहाँ पे यूज़ की जाती। शायद गलत भी हो सकती हूँ, लेकिन मैं देखूँगी। यहाँ पे मैंने हेयर टूल यूज़ किया है, सो इसको यही मैच हो रहा था, मतलब यहाँ पे ऑब्वियसली हर किसी का वो एग्जैक्ट मैचिंग तो होता नहीं है, तो बाकी के बाल जब ऐड करूँगी तो नहीं पता चलेगा। So I'm using in my first hair tool, so I've secured it either side. There's clips there, but I'm still going with grips, and then I'm going in with other grips and just securing it at the base. And then I'm going to use another one to cover the rest of the padding. Now I was just mentioning that I know in other countries like India, Pakistan, I don't think they use padding as much. If they don't find this padding, I think you can make padding yourself from the hair pieces. I will show you how to do that as well, because a lot of people do it like that and have their padding ready made in a certain shape. So I'll show you how to do that soon as well. If you've got naturally long hair and thick hair, you know, you can do all this with back combing your own hair and a lot of crimping, but the only thing I find is that it's not very good for your hair, and it's really, really difficult for you to get out at the end of the day. This way, when you take out your padding, you've not got much back combing at all to brush through, you know, and it's quite easy to take out. I know it's a lot of pins, but apart from that, we've not ruined your own hair, or we've not created, you know, loads of knots and things like that. So as you can see, I've added my first hairpiece on. Now I'm adding my second one on. I'm putting this on in the middle, and then what I'm doing is I'm going to just take it side to side and fill in all the gaps and pin it where I want to. Again, this can be done in so many different ways. This is just one way of doing it, but the same techniques can be applied, but you can make it a lot lower or a lot smaller to just one side instead of, you know, having it in the middle and things like that. So there's so much you can do here, and this is why I always say to you to focus on the techniques, and you can then make it your own. Your own creativity is what will, you know, you will make you create lots of different hairstyles from a few of these techniques. सो यहाँ पे मैं हमेशा आपको ये बोलती हूँ कि टेक्निक्स देखें, आप इसी हेयर स्टाइल को कितने डिफरेंट तरीके से आप चेंज कर सकते हैं। इसको छोटा बना सकते हैं, इसका साइड बन बना सकते हो, इसी तरीके से आप इसको थोड़ा सा लो बना लो। सो बहुत ज़्यादा डिफरेंट डिफरेंट चीज़ें होती हैं यहाँ पे जो आप कर सकते हो। मैं आपको बोलती हूँ कि टेक्निक्स पे फोकस करें एंड देन उसको आप अपनी क्रिएटिविटी से आप कुछ और क्रिएट कर सकते हैं। A lot of you do ask for hair videos, so I do tend to have one makeup video and then one hair video. So I'm always trying to show you different hairstyles as well. Obviously, when it's a bride, I just have to show you what I've done. It could be something similar to what I've done before as well. But obviously, when I do photo shoots, I try and show it in a little bit more detail if I can. But this is a full detailed tutorial as well. But I do find that a lot of people are asking for tutorials, but obviously the videos aren't as popular, so I'm not quite sure whether you do want hair tutorials or not. So do let me know in the comments if you want me to continue with my hair tutorials. I think they're really helpful. I mean, I'm not a trained hairstylist, so I prefer doing makeup to hair, and all the hair I do is actually I make it up. So you know, you may find easier ways of doing these hairstyles, but these are just the ways that I figured out myself. Like I said, no one's really taught me or shown me how to do these things, so I just figure them out myself and find a way of doing it and making them work. So, you know, I'm not saying that I am showing you the absolute best way of doing things, but hopefully you get to learn something, and they do work. So, and I think, as far as I know, a lot of makeup artists are doing their hairstyles similar as well from what I see sometimes. So what I'm doing is I'm just pinning everything in, and as I go along I'm just getting all the rough bits now, so I'm just tucking them in, so I'm making the bun a little bit neater now. So पिनिंग मैंने कर दिया। अभी जो इसके जो लूज एंड्स हैं उनको थोड़ा सा पिन करके इसको बन की थोड़ी सी शेप लेके आ रही हूँ। पहले आपने देखा था कि बिल्कुल गर्दन की तरफ जा रहा था, अभी ये जो सारे एंड्स हैं ना इनको करके थोड़ा सा ग्रिप लगा के एंड अंदर ही ट्विस्ट करके तो पिन कर रही हूँ। नाउ आई नो ये जो हेयर स्टाइल्स हैं हर किसी के लिए नहीं है, ये यहाँ पे इंग्लैंड में काफ़ी ज़्यादा चलते हैं। इंडिया पाकिस्तान में या जो दूसरी कंट्रीज, आई एम नॉट श्योर आपको ये इस टाइप के हेयर स्टाइल्स पसंद है या नहीं पसंद, या आपको ये सही लगते हैं या नहीं, क्योंकि ऑब्वियसली मैंने नोट किया कि पाकिस्तान की जो ब्राइड्स में देखती हूँ उनके काफ़ी छोटे बन्स होते हैं एंड इतने बड़े हेयर स्टाइल्स कई दफ़े नहीं होते। सो ऑब्वियसली हर बंदे का अपना अपना होता है, हर कंट्री में आई थिंक एक अपनी अपनी वो होता है कि ब्राइड कैसे लगती है, कैसे लगना चाहिए, कैसे हेयर स्टाइल्स हैं। सो ये ऑब्वियसली आपको पसंद है तो ठीक, नहीं पसंद है फिर भी ठीक है, लाइक मतलब अपनी अपनी पसंद होती है। लेकिन यहाँ पे ये काफ़ी स्टाइल्स चलते हैं। तो यहाँ पे मैंने पैडिंग लगा दिया। अभी मुझे पफ बनाना है जहाँ पे दुपट्टा बैठेगा, तो इसके वज़न के लिए मैं यहाँ पे पैडिंग लगाई जा रही हूँ। So now I'm creating the puff at the back, at the top. So again, I want to do this without back combing, and there's not much hair there to work, so obviously it would go flat when the scarf sits on top. So now I'm placing the kinky bulk hair, my padding, pad by pad, and what I'm doing is just making it really secure now. And on top of this, when the scarf goes on now, you're not going to get it going flat or anything like that. So there's quite a bit going on, and it does start feeling quite heavy, especially if you start using like half head wigs and things like that as well, which sometimes I do even once I've used my twirl. So it can get a little bit heavy. Obviously it is difficult for the bride, but she's prepared to go ahead with it. Sometimes we do say just take a couple of paracetamol, because you will eventually just end up getting a headache as well, because you've got your heavy scarf to go on top as well. So now I'm taking a small section and I'm going to backcomb this very slightly and smooth this over now, that padding, and then I'm going to just get a smooth finish here. So यहाँ पे ये जो बैक सेक्शन है मैंने ले लिया, थोड़ा सा हेयर स्प्रे लगा रही हूँ। नॉर्मली हेयर स्प्रे मेरे डिफरेंट होते रहते हैं, जस्ट डिपेंड्स मुझे उस टाइम पे कौन सा यूज़ कर रही हूँ। नॉर्मली ट्रेसेमे के हेयर स्प्रे यूज़ करती हूँ जो थोड़े से लॉन्ग लास्टिंग होते हैं, स्ट्रॉन्ग होल्ड वाले। So I'm using Tresemme here. I normally try and have the white bottle, which is like a freeze hold, I think. But I use like one that's not too, initially when I'm doing the styling, I'll use one that is just like a medium hold, because I want to be able to play around with the hair. तो यहाँ पे बस बालों को थोड़ा सा स्मूथ ओवर कर रही हूँ, इसको फैला रही हूँ, एंड यहाँ पे मैं पिन कर दूँगी। सो यहाँ पे मैंने पैडिंग को छुपाना है। So I just want to hide my padding here. So there are still on the ends, you can see a little bit of a gap there, which I'm going to use the other sides of the hair for. So I just spread this across, smooth it over, make sure it's nice and smooth, and I'm just hairspraying it a little bit as well. And I've got my bride obviously in front of the mirror, so you know, as I'm going along, I'm asking her, you know, is this high enough? Do you think this is too big? And I do tend to go a little bit bigger than what I need to, just so I know that when the scarf goes on, we flatten it. Now the rest of this hair, what I did is I just started curling it. So I'm curling it towards away from the face, and I'm just taking the sections now. When I finish with these sections, once I've curled it, there are so many different ways that I could have pinned this. So I chose to pin it in a certain way, but we could have kept them in ringlets or taken them back as well. So the front sectioning is really up to you and your bride of what you want to do, and how the jewelry sits and how they like it really. So like I said, there were so many different things we could have done, but I'll show you what I did. So all I'm doing is I'm curling small sections and taking them away from the hair. I'm using my GHDs. I think this is a slightly smaller curling tongs. I can't remember the size. I think 24 millimeters, I think possibly. So यहाँ पे ये जो सेक्शन है अभी बालों का, इन सब को मैं कर्ल करूँगी, बैकवर्ड्स लेके जा रही हूँ अवे फ्रॉम द फेस, तो इनको कर्ल करके तो फिर मैं फ्रंट स्टाइलिंग करूँगी ना। फ्रंट स्टाइलिंग जो मैंने कर्ल्स अभी किए हुए थे, इसके बहुत ज़्यादा डिफरेंट तरीके से पिन करने के लिए एंड अलग ही हेयर स्टाइल हो जाता। जिस तरीके से ऑब्वियसली मैंने इनको पिन किया है वो मैं आपको दिखाती हूँ, लेकिन आप कर्ल को मतलब जैसे कर्ल है ऐसे ही लेके तो पीछे लेके जा सकते थे एंड एक डिफरेंट स्टाइल हो जाता। तो थोड़ा सा हेयर स्प्रे लगा के एंड मैं बस एक एक सेक्शन लेके जा रही हूँ एंड इसको स्मूथली कर्ल किए जा रही हूँ। So the way I'm curling as well is I'm just dragging it through the clamp a little bit, so that just gives you a slightly smoother curl. Now, the way I've curled it, I could have just pinned it very lightly where it is, and that would have looked really pretty as well, but it's not really what my bride actually wanted at that point. So we just took each curl, and what I'm doing is just spraying it a little bit, back combing it if I want to. I'm using my really strong hold hairspray, which is the yellow one from, I think it's Go-To-Be. Just a bit of back combing, and then each curl I'm just kind of like spreading, twisting a little bit, and just placing it where I want to, and that's just giving you a little bit of detailing. सो जो कर्ल्स मैंने किए हुए थे वो भी अच्छे लग रहे थे, उनको ही जैसे एक थोड़ा सा पीछे लेके जाके तो उधर ही पिन कर सकती थी, लेकिन ब्राइड से मैंने पूछा था तो हम एक एक कर्ल फिर लेके गए थे। थोड़ा सा हेयर स्प्रे लगा के इसको बैक कोमिंग करके एंड देन ऐसे ट्विस्ट करके तो बस पूरे बन के ऊपर साइड पे लेके जा रही हूँ, एंड ये मेरी ब्राइड को पसंद आ रहा था। So I'm just going round on each side basically. I'm going to do it on this side and then the other side, and you can see the bits at the end just sticking up because I always do those, finish those off at the end. So one by one I'm going to take these curls, I'm using a little bit of hairspray, back combing it a little bit, and then I'm using a shine spray I've got from, I think it's Wow Hair, and I comb that through normally, and that just gives me that slight smoothness as well. सो थोड़ा सा हेयर स्प्रे लगा रही हूँ, बैक कोमिंग कर रही हूँ, एंड देन एक शाइन स्प्रे है मेरे पास जो वाव का है, ब्रांड का जो नेम है, एंड वो जब स्प्रे करती हूँ उससे थोड़ा सा लाइक शाइन आ जाती है, स्मूथनेस, फिर फिनिशिंग आपकी अच्छी आ जाती है। Do let me know in the comments if there's other hairstyles you want to learn, and I can try my best to show you, and obviously any other things that you want to see on my channel as well, just let me know. So I'm working the hair into the hairstyle. So obviously some are going in the bottom, some are going in the top, and then eventually once everything's there, you can't tell where the hair twirl is and where the bride's own hair is. So साथ साथ ब्राइड से पूछ रही हूँ कि कौन से बिट्स हमने बाय रखना है, या सारे पीछे लेके जाए, या स्मूथ करूँ, या थोड़ा सा लिफ्ट दे दूँ वहाँ पे, तो इस टाइप की चीज़ें। ये भी याद रखना आपने कि आपका दुपट्टा जाएगा ऊपर है, सो ये जो काफ़ी ज़्यादा ये कवर हो जाएगा, सिर्फ आगे वाला हिस्सा थोड़ा बहुत नज़र आएगा। सो उस हिसाब से हेयर स्टाइल आप करते हो। So just remembering that obviously the scarf can be pinned quite further back as well, like it could have gone to the back of the head if you wanted to, like, you know, where that bun is. But it's not normally where brides want their scarf. They want their scarf quite forward, really, not too much hair showing. So I think it's just personal choice again. So I normally check with my bride, and that's how I will do the styling, because sometimes what will happen is if they want to show a lot of hair, sorry, if they don't want to show a lot and I've done a hairstyle where I've not used much padding, then it will go flat with the scarf and it won't look right. So in that case, you know, I need to just make sure I pad it properly, knowing where the scarf's going to be sitting. So I normally discuss that with my bride before I've started the hairstyle. So you can see I'm just checking with my bride as I go along where she's liking, you know, these bits that I'm pinning in. तो अब जो बाकी के बिट्स हैं जो ऑब्वियसली मैंने पिन नहीं किए थे उनको पिन करके अभी नीट कर दूंगी. So now I'm going to go around and just neaten everything up, all the bits that are sticking out, obviously where I've not pinned it, I'm just going to go around, twist them and pin them in with grips. And then I did the other side, and obviously this is what it looked like when it was completed. I did actually put the tikka in before I took when I had the padding on and before I did the bouffant. I forgot to mention that, I'm sorry. So here we just quickly got our jewellery on, our bangles and things like that. I just took a few videos for my bride because she was going to put some on TikTok and things like that as well. So what I'm going to do is actually glue on the tikka now. So what I do is I'm just figuring out where I want the tikka, and then I turned it over, put some glue on it, and then turned it over and stuck it on after about a minute or so. So टिक्के को हमने ग्लू लगा दी थी. ये हम स्टाइलिंग कर रहे हैं. यहाँ पे कोई कैमरे की जगह नहीं थी कि मैं आगे लेके जाऊँ या आपको सही तरह दिखाऊँ. सर क्विकली बस स्टाइलिंग कर रहे हैं. यहाँ पे टिक्के के ऊपर मैंने ग्लू लगा दी थी उल्टा करके, एंड देन अबाउट मिनट एंड हाफ के लिए छोड़ा था, फिर उसको टर्न करके एंड देन प्रेस ऑन कर देते हैं. So I like to style the dupatta in front of a mirror so my bride can see what we're doing and she can tell me whether she's happy, and then obviously with the weight of the scarf and things like that determines where I'm going to be pinning it. Do make sure you subscribe to my channel because I'm bringing out lots of new videos, and inshallah I'll be starting my course soon as well, which will be a series of videos on YouTube where I'm going to be breaking things down and explaining everything in a lot of detail. So this is my final spray that I'm just doing on the face. It's a setting spray by Krylon, really long lasting, but it is like hairspray. It's not very nice actually, to be honest with you, but I just do like 1 or 2 light sprays. So this was the final look. I hope आप लोगों को ये पसंद आया है. ये हमारी फाइनल दुल्हन थी. So आगे अगर आपको और वीडियोस देखनी है तो प्लीज़ सब्सक्राइब करें. कमेंट में भी मुझे बता देना कि आपको वीडियो कैसे लगी, और इंशाल्लाह दोबारा मुलाकात होगी. Take care guys. अल्लाह हाफिज़.